to my workshop. Today I'm experimenting with the iPad. My intention is to place this in a ride-on holder to fit on the dashboard of my motor vehicle. The first thing I've selected for my actual mount is a piece of perspex. I've selected perspex because it's easy to mould with a little bit of heat, as opposed to polycarbonate, which is damn near impossible to bend. The heart of a holder is basically this leftover piece of perspex from a previous project. Currently all I am doing is rounding out the holes to create the flaps that will actually curl around the iPad and hold it securely in position. Underneath is the piece of timber I'm going to actually cut down to the exact size of the iPad and use that as a former to curl my edges around. As you can see on this piece of perspex, I've already curled 4 pilot holes, equal distances from the edges, to form my bending flaps. Simply take your hole saw and very carefully, because perspex is quite brittle, drill the corners out. Now we have the corner drilled out, we simply need to cut these and straighten up the edges. Use a hacksaw blade very carefully, or if you can afford one, a nice thin cutting blade on a cordless grinder. And just finish it off with a file. Filing the edges smooth and just rounding the tips. And a round file just to clean up any sharp edges. Once we apply the heat, the edges will smooth even further, and depending on how careful you are, should give you quite a professional look. Okay, now we have our basic holder, still in its flat form of course. The holes that you see in it actually held push buttons for a previous job. I could have said that they're for ventilation. I got away with that almost. So now that we've finished this, what we're going to do is use this piece of 3/8 inch plywood as a former to actually hold the perspex and use it to curl the edges over. I've selected the 3/8 inch perspex because that is the thickness, or very close to, of the iPad with the cover still on it. We will cut it to the exact width, possibly just a millimetre over the width of the actual device, round the corners, so that when we bend the perspex around it we have a nice curve and not too sharp 90-degree bends. We just want a nice curve so that when the iPad slips into it, it will just slide in there and just be held quite snugly. Once we've actually designed it and we know our exact placement of our control push button and any other controls we need to get access to, then we will make little cutouts into the perspex to allow us to put earphone jacks in, turn it on and off, or place the charger in, or even just to push that button there. And there we go. We have our former cut to the size of the iPad with a millimetre either side, just to allow it to be withdrawn and slotted in quite quickly. If you get out and leave your vehicle, you certainly don't want to leave this shiny device sitting on your dashboard for somebody who might just want to take the chance of smashing your window, snatch and grab. So you pull it out, and that is one of the reasons why it's still in its case, so you can just fold it up and take it with you on the road when you leave your vehicle. Edges are nice and smoothly rounded. Only 3 edges, the other edge doesn't matter. So that when we apply heat to our cover, we can just gently curve the edges around, just using a piece of timber to prevent any burns on your hands, and just hold it in position until it actually sets. Okay, my former has been placed on top of my perspex and another piece of wood placed underneath just to support the plastic when I heat it and fold it up. And what I'm going to do is heat it up gently on both sides, use the piece of wood to gently curl it up and over, and then once she's over, I'm going to hold it there with this piece of wood until it cools down enough to set in that position. And the outside usually needs a bit more heat because it has further stretch than the inside. Let's give that a go. Let it cool down by holding it in place, making sure she's hard against the curve. Perspex is very good for this. You warm it up and it bends just about into any shape you want it to. Okay, we'll just quick look at that. And as you can see, it's nicely curved up and around that piece of wood. A nice gentle curve. Because we don't have exactly square edges on the iPad. You can see how that curls around that wood very gently, very smoothly. That's what we're after on 3 edges. I'll quickly do all the rest and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, we formed our former. Just slide our block of wood outside our rack. And basically, we now have something to slot our iPad into. Let's try it. One iPad. And doesn't slot in. And beautiful. Look at that. You could also use this design as a wall mount. Screw it to the wall. Give you somewhere to put your iPad in your living room. Very snug. If you want to give it just a little bit more leeway, just make your form a little bit wider or a little bit thicker so that the edges don't grab it so quickly. But you can see that's a very nice piece of perspex. Bottom lip stops it from falling down. Side lips stop it from falling out, and I used a bit of smoky grey perspex because it looks much better than the clear stuff and tends to hide the scratches a little bit better. So hopefully we'll get many years of use out of this device, and we're going to install it in such a way that we'll be able to remove it without leaving any marks on the vehicle, which is always a good idea if you want to resell it. So, just an idea, have fun with it. You do the same thing with the iPhone as well if you like.